want to talk about? You interview me. Let's go. You're the one that knows about the, how everything should flow.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Coco, vente.
Arriba.
Ven, coño, que después tú vas a brincar y después tú vas a interrumpir.
But I think that's cool. Like if he jumps in, it seems very natural. It seems very natural. Like it's my dog.
Dale, empieza.
Saludo.
Preséntame a mí. Dale.
Saludo, mi gente. Welcome to the Zuleika Podcast.
Dale, introduce me. I'm here with Zuleika Viera, a makeup artist that invited me. What else?
I'm the host.
You're introducing me. Dale, and then I introduce you.
Hello, everybody. I am here with Zuleika Viera, one of the top makeup artists in the country. We're going to get to know me, but we didn't know how to start.
Right.
So I'm introducing her so she can introduce me.
I think I can do a better job than that.
Okay.
Let's see.
Take it away.
Okay. Let me introduce you. Hi, my name is Zuleika Viera, and I'm your host. And today I'm with Ian Lara, a Dominican comedian born in New York with Dominican roots.
Yes.
So I'm so excited to have you, Ian. So thank you so much for saying yes to me.
No, of course. Thank you for having me. And congratulations on the podcast. I know you've just released a couple episodes, but it's gone great. You've like blown up immediately. So congratulations on that.
High expectations. So,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
I'm nervous.
I got to bring the controversy.
Oh, my God. So tell me a little bit about you.
I'm Ian Lara. I'm a comedian from New York City. I was born and raised here. My mom and dad are both from Dominican Republic. They grew up a block away from each other in San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic.
Very nice.
Yeah, and they met at a Christmas party over there.
Okay.
Una noche buena. Yeah, and then they were married for 33 years until my mom passed. And I was born and raised in Queens. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, and I started comedy fresh out of college when I was 21 years old. And I've been doing it now for a little bit over 14 years.
Wow, it's a long time.
Yeah.
But when you were a kid, did you used to, do a little bit of comedy for your family? How did you discover that you liked that?
I was the youngest in my family. I was the youngest of 5. I think a lot of times I spent like growing up, I was more observing of like the people around me. I had an uncle, my mom's youngest brother. He's really funny. His name is Fernandito. He's really, really funny. And every time he came around, everybody, like, you could, when you bring laughter to the group, you can tell, like, every time he came around, the energy in the room would be, like, so positive. And I think I was attracted to that. Like, whenever he came in, like, the vibes were just, like, people felt like, all right, like, now we about to laugh. And I think I was more attracted to that. And then when I got to, like, junior high school and high school, amongst my friends, that's when I realized that, like, amongst them, I was funny to them. Like, when I was in school, I used to make everybody laugh. And then in high school, that's when I had the idea of, like, maybe I want to try stand-up comedy. I didn't know that it would take me to, like, some of the things that I've done, but I was like, I think that I could figure this out if I dedicated some time and effort to it.
But what did you go to college for?
I was pre-law to be a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have that in common.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I studied communications and law, and then I came here, and everything switched. So after you went to college and graduated, why you didn't pursue the law?
I did. I took the LSATs. I studied to take the LSATs, and I took the LSATs, and I applied to law school, and I got into law school. And when it was time to make a decision, I decided to walk away from it. I decided that I was going to try to pursue comedy more because I felt that I was more passionate about this. I thought that I could be a lawyer if I wanted to. I can, like, but I can do it and just, like, phone it in, like, just, but with comedy I was more passionate about it, and I just decided that it would be more rewarding for me if I followed my passion. And
oh my God, that's so interesting.
it's very scary. It still is very scary.
Really?
Yeah, very
Still
scary.
to this day.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. Like, I know this is not a common, like, thing, but, like, following your dreams is not for everybody.
No, definitely not. It's difficult.
It's really tough.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, it's really tough and scary, and, like, you have fear of failure, and then when you achieve things, you have fear of being an imposter.
Right.
And then the hate that comes with it. Like, it's a lot of love, but the hate is just like, wow. Like, you got to be really prepared to receive, like, the hate.
Yeah, I think you have to, like, be very mature, right? Not to go back and, like, respond and, like, be very cold out.
Yeah. Like, a lot of times the comments, I won't answer them, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say something, and I'll get into an argument with somebody, and then I'll realize like, why am I arguing with this person?
Right, it's not even
This is
worth it.
clearly a person who's not happy with their life.
Right.
Right. Like I've never met somebody who was happy with where they were in life and was like, I'm gonna go on the internet and argue with people.
Right.
Like that's not a trait of people who are happy with where they are in life.
So tell me about how do you feel the first time that you got on stage? Because that was something that must be scary.
Yeah, the first time I ever did comedy, before I even did comedy, I wanted to learn the history of it. I wanted to learn about the craft. I find that a lot of people who get into this art form, they don't bother to like research the history. They don't bother to like look at the people who came before them and look at what they did. They kind of just are funny and are just like, oh, I'm just gonna run a show and get on stage, which that's a path too. But me myself, I researched the history. I spent like probably like 6 months trying to learn as much as I could about stand-up comedy, and then I wrote some jokes.
Really?
I used to have this old digital camera. I recorded it. I let my cousin hear it. He was like, yeah, this is funny. And then I went. I was nervous. I was shaking. I sat in a room at an open mic until they called my name, and then they called my name, and I went on stage, and I did it.
You were not like nervous,
I
sweating,
was
shaking?
I was very nervous. I was shaking. I was very nervous, but when it was time, I was just like, just do it. Like you just rise to the occasion, and I kind of just like did it.
Oh my God. And how was the reaction of the public that first time?
People laughed. People laughed. Like
Okay.
people laughed. People enjoyed it. I wasn't good. It was my first time. It takes a long time to be able to get good. It takes
Right.
like a long time. So people just laughed, and that was enough for me. Like I was like, I think I want to do this, and that started like the thing of like, oh well, now I got to figure out how to get out of law school. I gotta,
Oh my God.
you know.
And did you break your parents' heart when you told them about that, or they were fine with it?
No, I didn't. You know, people ask me that a lot,
Really?
especially coming from like Dominican parents. No, I think, my mom, like, ever since I was a kid, I was always a kid that would just do whatever he wanted. Like, whatever I said I was going to do, like, that's just what I would do. Like, I was never kind of like a follower, or I always kind of just did my own thing. So when my mom and dad found out about it, I think they were just like, they trusted me. They were just like, well, he's figured everything else out. Like, he'll figure this out. I also went to college and graduated really quickly. Like, I got my bachelor's degree immediately in 4 years. Like, I went in, I was on the
Right.
dean's list, I graduated, and I was done. So I think that bought me like some years where they were like, well, this kid's never really given us problems. Let's see where this takes us. By the time they started asking questions, things were already happening. Like, I was already doing a couple things. And then once I did the Tonight Show, I think they were like, okay.
He
I
made
guess.
it.
Well, not he made it, but they were just like, okay. Well, for my mom passed away in 2021. But before she passed, she got to see me. I took her to one of my first interviews, which was on Telemundo.
Okay.
And that was a big deal for her. She was like, because we went to the Telemundo
And it was in
offices.
Spanish?
Yeah, it was in Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was like, I remember walking around the Telemundo offices with her, and she was just like, wow, like, it was people who she watched. She was like, oh, mira esta,
Oh,
mira
that's
esta.
so nice.
And I told them, and they came and said hello to her. So that was like a real proud moment for her. And the second time, it was on the Tonight Show, which, you know, that was, she's a Dominican woman. She wasn't like super familiar with the Tonight Show. But when you do the Tonight Show, they send you a driver, you show up, and you don't have to watch it to know, like, this is a big deal. Like,
Right.
the way you're treated, you're like, okay, this is a big deal.
Oh
So
my
that was
God.
like a really cool thing for her. I'm glad she got to see that.
Right, and that is so precious, you know, that she lived those moments with you. And I didn't know much about you until I saw the special, and then I started doing research. But I know you dedicated the special on HBO to her,
Yeah.
and to me that was so beautiful too.
Yeah, the story with the HBO special, I mean, that special I feel like belongs to her completely. Like, I was supposed to film the HBO special in 2021. It had gotten put, I found out about it during COVID in 2020. But because COVID, and then there was a second wave and all these things happening, it kept getting pushed back. So it got pushed back to 2021, and I was supposed to film it a week after she passed away. Like, literally, my mom passed from cancer, from colon cancers. I always make sure to tell people, make sure you get screened, and tell your parents to get screened, especially like Dominicans and immigrant communities. They don't know about that stuff a lot. So make sure you guys get screened. But when she presented, it was already too late. She was stage 4. And at that point, it was just like taking care of her and making sure that she was as comfortable as she could be. And
How long it took when
at the
she
end of that life.
found out until she passed?
My mom went from life of the party, like partying, family parties, to like 5 a.m. to her deathbed in like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah,
Wow,
it was like this,
it was so
extremely quickly.
sudden.
Yeah, I'm very thankful, and I owe comedy everything. Comedy has taken me all over the world. It has put me in rooms that I don't even know. Sometimes I have to step back, and I'm like, I don't even know how I'm at these rooms. Like people I looked up to. Like I've been on Dave Chappelle's couch talking to him like how I'm talking to you, which I'm like, sometimes you got to take a step back.
Right.
But one of the biggest things it gave me was when my mom did get sick, the fact that I didn't have a day job, a 9 to 5 to be at. Me and my dad were like the primary caretakers of her because my
Right.
other siblings, they all had jobs and they would be there as much as they could be, but they had to go to work. I didn't. So I stopped touring, I stopped going on the road, and I was at the hospital with her basically every day. Me and my father, we would split the time. So I'm
Wow.
very gracious. I'm very gracious that comedy allowed me to do that. But the HBO special, like I was saying, it was supposed to be a week after she passed away. And when she passed, I told my director and Ida Rodriguez, super funny comic. Check her out if you have opportunity.
Okay.
But she spoke to HBO, and HBO called me and they were like, Ian, look, we understand how serious this is. We want you to don't worry about it. Whenever you are ready to film, the offer's gonna be there. Just let us know when you're ready to film, and we'll do it.
And how long it
And
took you?
another year,
Oh wow.
and it changed everything. All the jokes from the comedy special, like 98% of them, I wrote them after she passed. I learned quickly after dealing with the death of a parent, especially a mom, how artists are able to create some of their best work when they're dealing with like
Grief.
depression and grief and whatever heartache. When writing a good joke is the only thing that's gonna bring you like any type of joy or happiness, you'd be shocked how like locked in you'll be. And like I remember when my mom passed, I took probably like 2 weeks off from comedy. I was just home. And then I was home and I was like depressed and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this isn't serving anyone. Like, this
Right.
isn't serving me. I'm just home. I'm just had. I want to get back on stage. And I started getting back on stage and I was just writing like so much. Like, I would just like, the jokes were just coming to me. Like, and I would just figure them out so fast. Cause at that point for me, it was either that or being a full depression, like 'cause
Wow.
for losing a parent. So I kind of leaned on the art more, and I just started performing, and then I went on tour, and I toured it, and we filmed it in July of 2022. It came out that November, and I'm still to this day I'm very proud of that, and I definitely like dedicate that to her and you know the strength that she taught me from growing up as like a child to like you always keep going. Like even when she was on her deathbed, she was like, you just always keep going. Like what are you gonna do? Like you're gonna just stop and the world isn't gonna wait for you. You just keep going. You know,
Right.
you deal with it, but like you gotta keep you gotta keep working. So I definitely feel like I owe that to her.
No, and that says a lot about your character because a lot of people, when something like this happens, they just get into something. They even quit what they do, And the fact that this help you, get better, and then just help you get out of the depression and the grieving process and
Yeah.
breaking into that's amazing.
Therapy
So,
helped me through it a lot. Therapy helped me. I started therapy about 2 weeks before I found out that my mom had gotten sick. And it was random. Like I just had somebody recommend therapy and I've been wanting to check it out. So I started therapy and then my mom got sick and then my therapist talked me through like those 2 years of her getting sick, passing away, and ultimately dealing with the grief that comes after. And therapy completely changed my perspective
Right.
on grief and on life and on everything. I couldn't recommend therapy more, especially to like people who come from immigrant parents who are dealing with like different type of traumas and stuff. Get a therapist.
yeah, that helped me a lot too. Last year, my grandmother passed away. I had a lot, like,
I'm sorry to hear
crazy loss.
that. Yeah.
And I think that was the one thing that helped me,
Yeah. Well,
pass through it.
I had like a rough 3 years. Like I'm very thankful for most of my life. I didn't deal with much grief and much trauma. Like with my life, especially with my family, it was like all Dominicans who we just party like all
Right.
the time. Like the biggest thing we were concerned with is like where's the next party gonna be hosted at? What are you bringing to the next party? Like that was mostly it. Like we had a big we still do have a big family who we're very tight knit, and I was very grateful that for most of my life I never dealt with like those type of traumas. It was a very good upbringing.
Right.
But then in 2019, I had my manager who signed me when I was like 2 years in. He got murdered. Crazy story. He ended up getting murdered by
Here in New York?
yeah, in New Jersey he lived. He ended up getting murdered by his nanny's boyfriend who went
What?
crazy, murdered the nanny, murdered him. that shook me. This was a guy, he was my manager. I spoke to him every day, like
Right.
about my career. He was a person who believed that I would achieve all these things before anyone else saw it. And that was very hard. I was in Dominican Republic at the time, and I canceled my trip so I can come back, so I can make his funeral. I was talking to him like an hour before he got murdered. Like
Oh
I
my
had to come
God.
back and speak to police about what, so they can draw up a timeline of what happened. So that destroyed me. I was in Dominican Republic and I was visiting my family. I was visiting my grandparents, and I told them I gotta go because my grandma,
Right.
she was like, go ahead, go. You gotta go make the funeral, and she sent me. And then 2020, the pandemic hit,
Yeah.
and then my grandma passed away.
Your
Like
mother's
my
mom.
mom, my mom's,
From on your
my
mom's
dad's
side?
mom,
Oh my
my
God.
dad's mom. She passed away. So the last time I got to see her was when I was there, telling her that my manager had got murdered, and
So
she
it's
sent me.
back to back everything.
So she got sick. She passed away, not from COVID, but from other stuff, other complications. She was a little older. She was like in her late 80s, and that was tough. I had to deal with
Oh my
passing of
God.
my grandma, and then 2021, my mom passed.
Yeah.
So for those 3 years, I feel like it all like piled on me. And if I didn't have a good therapist, and if I didn't have a good person like to speak to and guide me through it, I could have went down like a darker path, I believe. So
Right.
I'm very grateful for therapy, and I always tell people, especially people who come from Dominicans, the older generation, they don't believe in therapy. They don't
Yeah.
believe that it's
They're
something
like, oh no,
real.
you're just exaggerating, whatever. Like,
To be fair, a lot of
you
people
know.
are exaggerating. To be fair,
But not everybody. You
a
know?
lot of
Like,
people are, but yeah, not everybody is.
oh my God.
So I definitely recommend it. It changed my perspective with grief and sadness, and it just completely changed the way I was programmed to think growing up from like a Dominican household where I was taught that like men being sad or crying was wrong. Like I just really believe that, and it was like I remember having a therapy session with my therapist, who's like this old Jewish man who like he doesn't have any relations to like Dominican and how we're framed to think or nothing.
Right.
And we were talking about grief, and when like the question was so simple, he kind of his question was, I was telling him how I was afraid of like being sad, and he was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Cause I don't want to be sad." And he was like, "But why?" And I was like,
well, also Dominicans bully you for those type of
"Right,
things, right? Like they will
right,
be like, oh, why are you crying? You're not a girl, or right? They make you feel like less than if you are showing emotions as a guy. That's what I saw.
exactly." And something as simple as him asking me why made me realize that it was foolish. Like I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be sad. Sad doesn't feel good. And he was
Right.
like, but why do you think it has to feel good? And I was like, I don't know. He was like, well, how do you feel about happiness? And he was like, well, I was like, I like happiness. And he was like, why do you like happiness? I was like, because it feels good. And he was like, but why does it feel good? And I was like, I don't know. You just feel joyous. And he was like, he kind of just broke it down and explained that sadness is just the other side of happiness. It's
happiness,
just like you can't have one without the other. And just like happiness, he asked me one. I remember him asking me. He was like, when you're happy, do you ever feel like it's gonna last forever? And I was like, well, no, like you're happy for a little while and then it goes away. And he was like, well, it's the same thing with sadness. Like if you embrace it and just sit in the sadness, eventually it goes away. You're not gonna
Right.
be sad forever unless you're some type of clinically depressed, and that's a different conversation. But for your average human being who isn't experiencing that, we try to avoid sadness so much when we shouldn't be avoiding it. We should embrace it. Once you embrace it, it changed my perspective completely. That's
Right.
why I'm able to speak about this freely. Like I can speak about my mom's death with no problems. And if I get emotional, then I get emotional. I'm not
Right.
like running from it. Like it was so many people, like even in my family, when it comes to that, like we'll start speaking about it and then they'll stop themselves. They don't want to speak about it because they feel they're going to get emotional. And I used to have that. And he was like, I remember him asking me, he was like, but it's your mom. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, he was like, how would you feel if when you were speaking about your mom's death, you didn't get sad? Like, how would you feel if like you just felt indifferent about it? And I
Right,
was like,
horrible.
well, that wouldn't be cool. And he was like, right, because it's your mom. It's like the person who raised you and made you who you are. You should be sad when you speak about that. And I was like, oh yeah.
Right.
And that changed like everything. Now, like I spoke about it on Jimmy Fallon. He had lost his mom. The second time I did it, he had lost his mom like not too long before I lost my mom, and we spoke about it like on the couch, and that was great. Like
Right.
I spoke about my mom's death to like millions of people, and I spoke about getting screened for colon cancer and breast cancer. That was dope. Like
Right.
I feel like I've like along with like the HBO and the comedy set, all those things, little things like that I've been able to do and speak to people who didn't have the privilege to speak to a therapist or have this perspective. Those are big accomplishments for me.
And I feel like you're honoring your mom by speaking about her, and also like you're also creating awareness of, the sickness, and like that people can know the situation. And I just think it's important. But I feel like
Right.
us growing up Dominican, I just hear your story and I feel like, oh my God, we're the same in so many ways, because in 2020 also I lost my grandmother. But the way I dealt, I have a problem with work. I'm obsessed with work, and
Yeah, same.
my work is everything. So I was working, I was in a production, and my father called me. He's like, oh, like, mama, like, she's gone. And I went to the bathroom, I cried, I wiped my tears, and I finished my 12-hour shift. My grandmother just passed away. It was December 30th. December 31st is the closing of the year. So it's the biggest job for me as a makeup artist, because I'm doing it with Univision. I came to New York. I said goodbye to my grandmother. I kissed her on the forehead, and I was like, I gotta go to work. I went to work, and nobody knew. So I feel like I deal with it differently. And, hearing you say, like, acknowledging when you're sad and all of this, I think this is something that I gotta work on too, because with the way I deal with it, it's like, I'm not dealing with it. I'm going to work. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah,
It happened.
that's not
it's
good.
fine. I know it's horrible,
That's
but
not
it's just,
good.
I move on.
Yeah, to
And it's
every
just
like to people listening, like I promise you, like the next time you feel like that wave of sadness coming on for whatever reason, like really think about just embracing it. Like
Yeah.
welcome it. Just like how
Like,
you welcome
feel the feelings.
just how you welcome happiness. Like when when you're happy about something, like, and you're so open to it,
Right.
be open to sadness and watch how quickly your perspective on it will change. Like not only will you when you welcome it, not only does it lose its power, but you just feel better after. Like sometimes you start looking forward to like, oh, I'm about to have a good cry on this, and I'm gonna feel better about it. You don't hear a lot of men talking about this, but that's the truth. Like,
Yeah.
as a guy, like sometimes like you do a good cry, or for whatever reason, you're like, yo,
What, a movie? Like, what makes you cry? Tell
I'm
me.
good. No, yo, it's crazy because previously, like, I was not like really a crier. Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't cry. Like there was nothing that would make me cry.
You
Like,
think now you got more in touch with, like, your emotions?
yeah, for sure, for sure. I remember even at my mom's funeral, like I didn't really cry. I had tears come out. I didn't really cry. I use humor as like my thing. Like humor is everything to me.
Wait, you just tell me, oh, you're horrible because I use work. You use the same thing. I mean,
But
what
no,
is this?
no, but humor. I don't mean humor in the sense of like working humor. Like I'll give you an example.
Oh.
One of the best parts about when my mom like ultimately ended up passing, obviously it was all negative. But if I had to find a silver lining, is in the last 48 hours of her life, the doctors told us she's not gonna make it. I remember it was a Monday. She was like, she's not gonna make it past the middle of the week.
Oh my God.
But what happened then was we were able to tell the whole family, and everyone came to say their goodbyes. It was in the hospital, and it was 2021, so COVID was still, but the hospital was so good to us. Like we had like a whole floor of the hospital full of Dominicans. Like it
Wow.
was just all Dominicans.
Party
just
loud.
Like just like loud, and they were so good to us. And we had Dominicans bring food. They brought food for the nurses. They brought like I remember like they brought soup, sancocho, whatever. And that was like one of the best things. Like if you're gonna pass away, what better way than to be just laying on the bed with
your
everyone
family.
telling you how much they love you and appreciate you. So that was great. But in that moment, like it was the saddest thing I've ever been a part of. But it was also still funny. Like we still had jokes. We were still laughing. My mom was a real funny person, so that wasn't. And it was the same thing at a funeral. Like it was still very funny. Like the people who are like at funerals who are like, no, this is not a laughing thing. Like they're wrong. It is like funny stuff happens at funerals. Like I spoke about it like before. Like I've had things going viral when I'm just telling the story about stuff that my family did.
I saw it on your podcast the other day. You were speaking about some jokes about,
Yeah, like
in the
I had a
funeral.
cousin go up and do a speech about getting vaccinated, and everyone was like, "Cut his mic off. He's he's going off the deep end." Like me
my
and my
God.
cousin locking eyes. They like cut him off. I had a person go up and do a speech. I'm not even trying to make this up. I'm not 100% sure that the person knew my mom. Like it was just, I think he came like as an invite of somebody else, and he saw a microphone and he was like, I it's my time to shine. And he went up there. He did not speak about my mom. He spoke about himself. He spoke about losing his son. And we were looking, my cousins, everyone's looking like dying laughing. And if my mom were in the room, like alive in the room, she would have been dying laughing because my mom was very, very funny. Like my mom would be like, cut his mic off. Like that was the type of person she was. So I believe that humor is actually the best thing. You can use laughter to get through anything. Like I'm such a proponent of like using laughter and look, I'm not saying go to a funeral and start doing stand-up, but I'm saying open up to the possibility that even in the darkest moments, things are still funny.
Yeah.
That's you can't humor is like I said this. I remember being in the hospital and I said this to my cousin. I was like, humor is like air, like it cracks through the door. Like when you close the door and you're like, no, it's serious in here. Like humor comes through the bottom of it. Like it just sneaks in and you're like, damn, we should have put something under the door.
But I feel not everybody's gonna get that. I mean, we get it because we're Dominicans, right? So we grow up like that. We grow up like, having jokes about each other, like just bullying each other. It's just a way of living for us. But not everybody gets it. And that's why it's hard because now everybody being so sensitive to things. It's like, oh my God, where do I make a joke?
I think Dominicans, we live on extremes, right? So I think Dominicans go extreme on whatever it is. Like if it's time to party, they're partying like extreme. Like we used to have barbecues where, I'm not lying, like people used to leave the barbecue at 9 a.m. Like the barbecue that started at 2 p.m. the night before. Like they used to leave our house the next day at 9 a.m. Like not like sleep over, like 9 a.m. like, okay, yo creo que me voy. And like the party's just ending. So they do extremes. And I find with funerals, they go the opposite extreme where they're super serious. Like a Dominican funeral is so sad and heavy. Like it makes you not want to go to it. Like you're like, oh, I got to deal with my aunt who's going to try to get in the casket. I don't want to do this. I don't want to deal with this. Give her a Xanax, please. But I went to a Jewish, when my manager got killed, I went to a Jewish funeral, and they're the opposite. At funerals, it was such a good, like, it was like a celebration of life.
Oh,
like
that's
people
nice.
told funny stories. It felt so warm.
Right.
And I remember coming back to my family and I was like, the next person that dies, we got to do it like this.
Oh my God.
We got to plan it like this. And my family was like, yeah, let's try to coordinate.
Let's do something different here.
Yeah, let's do something different for the funeral.
Oh my God.
But yeah, look, it is what it is. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you think I wasn't sad at my mom's funeral?
Right.
Like, of course I was sad. But what am I gonna like? Just like embrace the depression part of it and not embrace the funny part of it? Like, no, you like part of the human experience is embracing all the things.
No, and I mean, from what you're telling me, you had a great relationship with her. You guys were close. She was with your father for so long. It's different. You got to appreciate your mom. Not a lot of people have that. So
that was one of the best things. Like when she ultimately did pass. Speaking to my therapist, like, and like feeling like it didn't feel like there was any unfinished business.
Right.
Like everything that I wanted to say was said, and that was
no, and that's beautiful. And what about your siblings? How did they take it?
They didn't do therapy, so all. I mean, we're all very close. We're very close.
You're the
family.
baby, right?
Yeah, I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest and the most successful.
Oh my God!
No, I'm joking. I troll them. I troll them all the time. No, they're very. Those are my people. They're very supportive.
How many siblings you have?
I'm the youngest of 5.
And what?
So
3
4.
girls?
3 girls and my brother. And we're all like super super close. They've been on this ride with me through comedy from the beginning. Like they've been at every event. One of the dopest part of the HBO special was like when my family, obviously we were dealing, my mom was like the head of the family and she was the youngest from her group, like from my aunts and uncles. Right. She was the youngest girl, but she was the head of the family. Like
That's
after
so nice.
her mom passed, she was like the matriarch of the family. So when she passed, it was heavy on everyone. And it was like a year of like, we would still get together, but it was just heavy. Like every time it was heavy. And yes, we would laugh, but obviously we were missing her and it was heavy. So when the HBO special came out, they did a red carpet premiere for me in Manhattan.
Oh, wow.
And I invited my whole family and they all came out. And that was so beautiful. Like, because the previous year was just so heavy and having them come out and like enjoy it. And they were so proud. And we had a red carpet and we had a photographer and there was famous people there. And everybody wanted to walk the red carpet. And I had my backdrop that said the name of the special, romantic comedy, Ian Lara. And that was so rewarding for me and for them, and they were so excited. Some of my family members were like, well, can I invite like my business partner? Can I like, like I felt good that they felt cool. Like I remember one of my cousins, he invited somebody. He was like, I'm trying to close this business deal with this guy. Can I invite him to like the red? I feel like if I invite him to the red carpet, he's gonna be like, okay, I gotta do.
Say yes.
Yeah, he's gonna say yes. So he came out and they introduced him, and you could tell like when like he was like, wow, like I can't believe you're a family member, and they ended up closing the deal, and that was like very rewarding for me. I was like, that made me feel very happy being able to do that.
Oh my God, that's so nice. You make me want to meet your family.
My family, I mean, everyone who's met my family is like, my family is fun. Like they're just so much fun. Like all of them are just too much fun. Like
Okay.
it's just too much fun. Like I'm the youngest, so like I'm the youngest, so they're all so much older than me. So they're all very old school. Like that's why like I'm old school. Like I'm a very old school person.
Are you old
like,
school?
Yeah,
You
like
don't sound old school. And on your podcast, you don't.
Well, I mean, you're doing a podcast, especially I do a comedy podcast. It's not as we get real, but it's not as real as this
Right.
is, right? So it's like obviously like I'm doing a character like
Right.
to that our listeners enjoy. Like the listeners are in on the joke that I'm doing this character that's kind of obnoxious and loud and kind of says crazy things. But if you listen and you really listen to the podcast and you know me, you know that I'm doing a character and that's not who I really am. But yeah, no, I'm a very old fashioned like dude. Like I consider myself more old fashioned Dominican than like new school. Like I don't relate to the young dudes
But in
at
what
all.
sense, though? Like in what sense you think you're old fashioned? Like you want.
Like my
What of
type
life?
of my type of Dominican music, like I'm a big fan of Los Rosarios. I love Los Rosarios.
Okay.
I love Doña Rosario.
More classic.
I love Juan Luis Guerra. I love Hector Lavoe. Like that's the music that I grew up.
Not dembow at all?
No, I don't really. I don't.
Not
really,
El Alfa?
I shout out to El Alfa. I met him one
Jailin?
time in Miami. That's just not my style.
okay.
That's just not my style. Like I'm the youngest, so I didn't grow up. When I grew up, we was listening to Ruby Perez at the
Right.
during Christmas. That was what he was like. And back to answer the question, like when I was young, I wasn't like the funniest like with the family, but I used to dance. Like my aunt taught me. My aunt, my mom's closest sister, and they were all close, but her closest sister, which is my aunt Mommy, she's like a second mom to me. She taught me from like a young age. I remember being like 2 years old. I feel like, let me just say this. I feel like people talk about the toxicity of Dominican men, but I think nobody is more toxic than like Dominican women raising men. Like they really instill the toxicity in your head from a young
How?
age. I remember being 3 years old and my aunt would like put on music like in the living room. My aunt Mommy, she's still alive. Shout out to Mommy. I'll send her this. You see? Le estoy dando payola. I remember being like 3 years old and she would put on music
Right.
and be like, get up and dance. And I'm like 3 years old. I'm like, I don't know how to dance. And at 3 years old, she's like, tú tienes que bailar. Las mujeres no le gustan los hombres que no bailan. Si tú quieres ser un pariguayo, tú vas a un pariguayo. Pero, and I'm like,
But how is that? Does that make you toxic? That makes you better for the woman, right?
but it does
No,
make you, it does.
she's training you.
It does create a personality in you that makes you think like, okay, so if I want attention from women,
You have to know
I
how to
learn
dance.
how to dance.
Yes,
and then you
great.
become a great dancer, and now you have all this attention from women, and now hypothetically speaking, you may get married, you may have a wife or whatever, but now you're like just because you have a wife or a partner, that doesn't mean that the attention from women stops. Like it doesn't stop at your wife. Like you continue to get that attention.
But still
and
doesn't
you
give me the answer on how this is still from you since childhood.
Well, I mean, I think training a 3-year-old on how to get women is kind of toxic. No, I think we'd all agree, right? There's people here. That's not exactly how white Americans are raising 3-year-olds.
But I don't think the word is toxic. It's not appropriate because it's too young, but not toxic, and
I don't think it's inappropriate because it's just dancing. I think, for me personally, I think the word is toxic.
Okay,
I
what is
remember my
toxic
aunt
for
telling
you?
me. I remember my aunt telling me. I remember her telling me. I heard this from two people. I heard this from my aunt and I heard this from my grandfather. And my grandfather is like a short. My grandfather, he's still alive. He's like 5'3", like a short thing. But I hear from his past, like in the town in DR, he was like the lady, like every woman wanted him. Like every woman, this little
Papi
guy
chulo.
who's like, yeah. And I remember my aunt told me, and he told me, they were like, at a young age, they was like, and I'll say it in Spanish. We'll translate it, but I remember saying, todos los hombres tienen que ser un poquito comparón. A las mujeres les gustan los hombres comparón. Women don't like men who are just like whatever.
Right.
You gotta be like, women like men who are like
that
specific.
take care of themselves.
Yeah,
and,
you gotta be specific on your thing. Whatever it is, like you gotta wear like you like your clothes this way.
Yeah.
You like your cologne, this is where your cologne. This is how you like your food. Like regimented. Like women like a regimented man. Even if they don't believe it, they are attracted to that. I had that from both my aunt and my grandma. So I learned at a young age, like, I think I'm naturally like that, but you gotta be like, I have friends who are like just whatever, like, and I'm just.
But
like,
I think that's great training, and it's not you.
Because you're toxic.
No, I'm not toxic.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, a toxic person is somebody that is like, that have bad traits, right? Like this, like jealous or obsessive.
Well, toxic there's a spectrum of toxicity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so toxic is not like.
You're describing them like they train you. This is all great.
Well,
it's gonna be great for your partner, whatever.
Toxic. There's a spectrum of toxic.
Oh
for example, I'll give you the spectrum of
toxic. Okay,
toxic.
Dr.
Right?
Ian.
All right, yeah, here we go. We're going into the therapy session.
Let's go.
Here's a toxic relationship trait, right? Feeling that you have to have your partner's location on your phone at all times, right? That can be considered toxic.
Yeah.
On the low end, right? Being physically abusive or verbally abusive to your partner is also toxic.
Right.
But it's not the same as having the location. There's a spectrum of it.
Okay, I give you that.
Right.
But still, doesn't the training since you're a kid
training
to be
a baby to get women is toxic. I think.
Oh my God.
I think call in if
the baby tells me I like woman. Okay, great. I'm gonna train you to be a great man for a woman. What is toxic about that?
I'm not gonna train you to be a great man for a woman. I'm gonna train you to be a great man for women. For women, plural, not for a woman. For women. You have to be.
They say for women, like for different. So you could be like, un picaflor for multiple women. Because I don't think that was the training. You took it that way.
Well, I mean, I think that was the training. Like, I think judging from like, I feel like, and I'm not. I wish I had my aunts here or my family here to verify this, but I think from like a young age, I feel like they was like, we see potential here, so like let's try to raise this guy. Like even my sisters, like whatever, like let's try to raise this guy. Because even my mom was the type of person that like if I brought a girlfriend home to my mom and she met her, I couldn't bring another girl home. Like my mom wouldn't accept that. She wouldn't applaud. Like she was like, no, because now you're having me look crazy. Like I'm not gonna. What happens when she comes and she knows that I applauded this other girl? So I'm not cool with that. Like my mom was real regimented in that way. But there was still part of her that was like, yeah, like you gotta be out. You got like women gotta want you. Like women want what other women want.
This is what I think. I think that they train you to be a great man for one woman, but also it's okay if women look at you, right? If they admire you, if they want to be with you. I think that's what it is.
I don't know. I think that I have a lot of that type of like the low spectrum toxicity that I mentioned, and I think and some of it came from the guys in my family, but a lot of it came from the women. I grew up, like I said, I had 3 sisters. I had like 8 aunts.
What is the most toxic trait you think you have?
Where do I begin?
Tell me everything. What are your red flags as a man?
I can't give that away.
Why? Why not? Just put it out there. Whoever wants me like that, then here I am. They're going to find out regardless and dump you or keep you,
I don't know. To be honest, I think after losing my mom, my relationship, it changed my relationship with women. I think. Like,
in what sense?
In a big way. I think that I don't know. I think I was so close to my mom and we had such like a good relationship that I think that I was kind of conditioned as I got older to just date women, kind of like I only needed to date women for the physical, obviously, right? Like everything else emotionally that I needed from a woman, I got from my mom and my aunts and my grandma. So like
your family.
Yeah, that emotional part, like I never was searching that in women. Like I was kind of just like, I'm attracted to you. If you're attracted to me, we'll date and we'll have a physical relationship where obviously we're pretending that it's like, but it's just a physical relationship. Right. Really, like there's not.
So you never been married?
No, never.
Okay.
There's not layers to this in that way. But after my mom passed, it made me like Frank Sinatra has a quote where he's like, a man doesn't become a man until he loses his mom, and I relate to that so much because when I lost my mom, I was 31 years old, and I felt like at that time I felt like I was like a little boy. I felt like I was like
Wow.
like a 2-year-old boy.
You feel that you're more of a grown man after,
Oh yeah.
because it makes you see things differently.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Like I literally felt like I was a little boy.
Wow.
Like I felt like I was like a little boy.
So what are the things that now you think are going to be different when it comes to a relationship? What is it that you're looking for?
I think respecting women more emotionally than I used to. I think that's important. I mean, that's not really a thing. Like, how does one know how to do that? It's not like a thing that you're really trained to do. Like, I knew how to like get women to look at me. I knew that if you smell good, you dress nice, be funny, you dance.
You
You
dance.
don't have to be 6 feet if you have all the other things. I wasn't a
Okay.
tall guy, so I was like, all right, I'll just get the other things that
Okay.
women like, which is like 100%. Like, it's like women will see a guy who's like 6'2", whatever, and they'll be attracted to him. But a lot of times, then you have a conversation with him, and then you feel like there's
Yeah.
nothing there, right? But I
No
was
brains.
like, yeah, I was like, well, I could never be the 6'2". I'm not gonna be that. I know I'm not gonna be that, but maybe I could get the other things where I can try to dress nice. I can try to always smell good. I can try to always look nice. My apartment is very nice. My car is very like clean. My like I
All
try
the
to
traits.
I try to carry myself in a very like gentlemanly way. I try to be a gentleman. I try to open doors. I try to do all those things that tall guys don't got to do.
Oh, they don't have to do it because you think that that's the only thing that
That's
woman is
what,
looking for?
no, I'm
Oh
speaking
my
I'm
God.
speaking generally. I'm
Got
speaking
it.
generally. They don't have to do it. I also like my family, they were all, especially on both sides, but especially on my dad's side, they were all intellectuals. Like they were real like book smart people who like studied and all went on to have big professions in DR. I had my uncle who was the head of public relations at Banco de Reservas in the Dominican
Okay.
Republic, who was born in a campo in San Cristobal, and then got his master's, doctorate, ended up being the head of public relations at Banco de Reservas, like a national bank like that. So I like that was another part of it where they were really big on like, yeah, study, like be smart, like have stuff to talk about. Women like men who are smart, like
Right.
so learn stuff, like know how to speak, know how to talk when it comes to everything, have an opinion, and be good and be kind to them.
I already know your red flag anyway.
What
You
is
didn't
it?
have to tell me.
What do
You
you think
went
it
you
is?
went around it and
What do you
around
think
it
it
and
is?
didn't tell me. But you told me that when I asked you about how your parents took it when you switched careers, you say, "Oh no, because I always was the kid that I do whatever I want." I think,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be the guy that a woman is gonna be like, oh, you're gonna be home, or what? You're gonna be like, I'm out. I'll be back. See you later.
I actually am home. I actually am a home person because of,
Really?
I think, yeah, because comedy has me out every night. Like anytime I'm off, I enjoy being home. I'm not a club guy. I don't like the club. I'll turn up, but I don't like it. Like it's not like a thing. Like I'm so disconnected from it. Like I don't even understand how there's people in relationships right now. Like there's women and men who are like in relationships where like a problem in their relationship is that one of them likes to go to the club every night. Like I don't even
Right.
understand that. Like I can't even wrap my mind
No, but
around it.
it doesn't have to be the club necessarily. But I don't think you are the person that's gonna be like, oh, hey, let me tell you what I'm doing from here to Saturday, and like giving explanations and like, all that whole conversation. I don't think you're having it,
No, I
right?
will give an explanation. I don't mind giving an
will?
explanation. I'm learning. I'm getting
Oh,
better.
you're learning
Yeah,
now after.
I'm getting better. Yeah, like I will. I understand. Like I was raised like in a rigid way, especially when it comes to like the toxic masculinity of like you're like this and women gotta adapt. But I
Right.
think I've learned through therapy, like nah, there's room for, and women are different also now, right? Like you're not gonna find those angels that they used to make back in the
Angels.
day.
What was the angels back in the day?
would
Cooking and
accept,
cleaning?
That would accept. No, not just cooking and cleaning. They were like women were like superheroes. They did everything. They did every single thing.
No, I mean, women, Dominican women back then, it was more like, oh yeah, you gotta grow up to just have kids, attend to your husband,
The
and
good old days.
oh really, the good old, ay Dios mío.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, but I think that is beautiful though. But I do find like now, I see that now because I feel like it swings always. It goes one way, then it comes back the other way. I find now that I'm meeting a lot of like millennials and like even younger girls who are like more, like they want to go more that route. Not to say like obviously they're professionals and they're
Right.
killing it and they're doing their job, but they want to go more in that route and be more feminine in that way.
I think it should be a balance, right?
think so,
like,
too.
I love, for me, like my example, I work, but I love also to cook, to have my house clean. Like, I
Well,
love,
that's like hitting the
know,
lottery. A woman that makes a good living and also loves to cook and clean,
Yeah.
I mean,
And I have
call
like my
in if
aspirations.
you're
I
one of
want a
these
backyard
girls.
with a garden. Like I want.
Send me an email if you love to work and cook and clean also.
Oh, that's a requirement. Okay.
No, that's
let's
not
put
a
an ad
requirement. I'm just
here.
saying that is not the
How
the
to
norm.
date Ian, please.
The norm. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But that you don't find that a lot. It's either one or the other. It's either like a woman has really focused on her career, which
Yeah.
obviously takes a lot of focus, or a woman that's more like of a homemaker. Like it's usually you gotta go and find one or the other. But
And I think it's seasons in life too, because sometimes you are very focused on like building something, right? So if you're building something to get there, you have to focus on that. You
Right.
cannot be wasting time doing a million things.
right.
So and that's something that I discussed here at home. I was like, there was a time that I was paying somebody to clean my house because I was like, if I spend 8 hours cleaning my house, doing laundry, that's money that I'm losing. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'd rather pay somebody like, okay, $200, $300 to clean my house and get that going while I can go out there and make, $1,000, $2,000. It makes
Yeah.
more sense to me, or build my business.
Yeah. I
So-
never had that. I never lived with anyone, but I'm just picturing like if I had a wife who I woke up and she was cleaning the apartment for 8 hours, I feel like that is hot. that sounds is that toxic? Can I say that?
That is hot.
That's like very attractive. That's wrong. All right, we'll
You're
cut
gonna
that
get
out.
canceled
We'll cut
from
that
the-
out. You can't
from
say
the-
that.
of-
I also think it's very attractive. A woman who's at the top of her career. I also
Great,
think
yeah,
that's
say
attractive.
that too, so you don't get canceled.
I
But
think
please
both
don't
of them-
cancel him.
I think
It's just
both of them are attractive. A empowered woman who's like at the top of her field, who's killing it, and also one who cooks for and
Whatever,
cleans
Ian.
for 8 hours.
What
I support women. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to. I am a feminist.
Oh,
That's
great.
that's what I want to get to.
Well, I don't know if I'm a feminist. The feminist right now is like, it's too extreme. I'll see. It's like
Yeah.
a balance.
Whatever
I gotta
toxic
see.
trait I have, I'll say I want to fix it. I'm not one of these people that's like I'm just toxic and you got to deal with it.
Right.
I wanna
Okay,
do-
so you will work on it.
I want to do better. Yeah. I wanna do
Listen,
better.
I love your podcast. I watch it.
The Adulthood podcast.
Yes, I mean I watch. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna go to YouTube and watch like every episode
Well,
because
you
sometimes
should.
it's too. I don't know why
Do
you
it
don't.
while you cleaning.
I don't know. Sometimes I
8
wanna. I'm
episodes.
like these two guys. Come on.
Well-
Sometimes I wanna get into the conversation and be like, no.
Well, that's the
What are
thing.
you doing?
That's the thing.
You know?
When I got my podcast deal, I for a long time I did not want to do a podcast. I just felt
Why?
that for many reasons. One of the most I just felt like there was so many of them, and I was just like, I just don't want to be like it just didn't interest me. And
Great
then-
encouragement here. Okay,
Well-
because a new podcast and he's telling me this. Great.
No, but I mean at least in my field, I don't think there's so many in like what you're trying to do. But I'm saying like in comedy, like if you're a comedian, you almost
Right.
have to have a podcast. And I know thousands of comedians, so like
There's not
obviously-
many?
Yeah, obviously it's a lot of podcasting, and for that reason I was more hesitant. But then I got a good deal. I found a studio that gave me like a great deal, and they were like, "Listen, we just are interested in you and what you have to say, so we'll take care of everything. You just show up." I just show up. Like I'll show up.
Really?
Like, are you guys ready to record? Yes. Sit down. Start recording. It's great.
It's that simple.
I'm very grateful for Hop Studios. But when we started it, I wanted a podcast where I can just like kind of talk and say stuff and be funny and connect with the people. But I asked my friend who's a DJ in New York. He DJs like in all the clubs and
He's
stuff.
your best friend, right?
He's a good friend of mine. We used to work on another show together where I was a host and he was a DJ. It was like a YouTube. It was a streaming show that streamed on the phone or whatever. But anyways, I wanted to do a podcast, and then on the first episode, like as soon as we sat down, I said a couple of things, and I realized I was like, "This is weird. This is just like two guys kind
Talking.
of like talking BS." So I immediately was like, you know what I want to do? I want to make a podcast to mock those guys who are doing that, like making fun of that toxic manosphere podcast they call it, which is like men saying women have to do this and do
Right.
that. So the whole premise of the podcast, if you listen to it, like you understand that we're just mocking those guys. Like, so a lot of the clips that go viral, I might
You
be
mock
saying.
a lot of things on the podcast.
I know a lot of the clips that go viral, I might be saying something crazy, but if you really listen or watch the episode, you would see that I would be like, that's something like a stupid guy would say.
No, but what I like about that podcast is also that it's relatable. And I know you use a lot of like, the jokes from like your childhood and make it very relatable. And I'm
It's a
like,
lot
oh,
of
I'm
stories.
sharing it for people.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sharing it to
appreciate
people
that.
on
Yeah,
like
no,
sending it over.
it's a lot of stories. Yeah, it's a lot of like stories of
And
growing up.
I
and
like how is it? People call and leave you the voicemail, and then
people leave us voicemails.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that too.
That's the thing I was gonna say. Like, we started making fun of those guys, and most of our listenerships is women. Like, it's mostly women that listen to it. So a lot of people be like we've had some people who are like, oh, this is like a toxic male podcast, and I was like, I'll send you our listenership. It's like 60% female.
Wow.
Like, it's mostly, I'll send you to like everything, like all our numbers is mostly women who watch it. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think they agree with you for the most part, but yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. Like I said, it's just joking. Like we're just joking, but we're also like, we get deep, we get serious, just like
Right,
how
like with the lady that you invited last week, she was
the therapist.
The therapist.
Yeah, we had a
That was a more
therapist
serious
on.
one.
Yeah, and shout out to her. She was just a listener of the podcast. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's called the Adulthood Podcast, and I troll the community. We call the listeners adulterers. You know, like.
I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I know you a little bit through it. I know
Yeah.
Carmen.
We had like immediately. I was like, we need a woman on this to tell us that we're stupid, like, because we can't just have two guys just pontificating, saying like whatever. So we had another girl who was doing the producer, Marty, but then we went in, we got Carmen, and yeah, Carmen just be like, you guys are idiots, you guys are wrong, and I'm like, yeah, this works. We need a woman's voice to tell us that we're wrong.
No, I like that she has her podcast too, because she gives you like feedback, right?
Yeah, she's great. She's great. We have a fun time. All in all, like, we have a fun time. And I meet people on the road when I'm touring. I meet people who come up to me and like they're like, hey, thank you so much. Like, this podcast gets me through our Mondays. Like, for some reason, we have a lot of nurses who listen to the podcast. I don't know how. We don't do nurse content, but nurses love us. We always make fun of nurses, and I have a lot of nurses who are like, yeah, I listen to this while I'm at work, while I'm at the hospital or whatever.
Right.
So that feels nice. Like, people, like you said, they feel like they know you when they listen to stuff like this.
That's how I felt, you know, because I mean, I don't know you for a long time. That's why I was a little nervous, because I was like, oh my God, I've just invited my friends here. And then I met you and I was like, I want this guy on the podcast. Let's see if he said yes. And then you say yes. And I'm like, fuck, why did he say yes? I'm like, wait, because then what am I going to talk to you about?
Well, you said you were going to cook. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go do that. You know, that'll be fun. And I also like to help. Like, I like to be whatever I can, in any way that I can help and whatever. And I feel like now, especially in this medium, everybody who does anything, they're just trying to get like views and clicks, and it's not even people that they like really want to talk to or hear. There's just like, oh, you have this thing that gets you, come talk on a podcast, and then you start talking and you realize this person doesn't have anything other than this thing that they might have done that went viral, and now like the conversation goes a little flat. And I'm old school in that way, whereas like, I tell people who invite me on stuff, I'm like, if you think that you're going to bring me on and you're going to get 1 million views, that's probably not going to happen. But if you want to bring me on and have like a good conversation where you walk away feeling like, all right, that felt good. I was like, I can do that. We can do that. And if people are like, yeah, I'll be like, all right, yeah, I'll go do it.
No, and I think that's the reason why I started this, is because I want to have conversations with my clients. I want the people that listen to it to get to know my clients and my friends, and just people that I like and I vibe with. And I think that's what happened between me and you, because I know you for a short time. Yeah. But I feel like I've known you forever. You know.
That's a Dominican thing. Dominicans just feel like,
we all like that.
Dominicans come up to me, like Dominicans literally come up to me and like give me a kiss on the cheek, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I guess we're cousins.
I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess we're related. That would not happen with any other culture. Like, where they just come up to you, give you a kiss on the cheek. But God. I love that. I love the people, and I'm very, like, every time I see Dominicans doing anything, I'm very proud. When I started, especially in comedy, there was some, but there wasn't like a lot of Dominicans who were like doing the things. So we bring people on like who we want to speak to. Like, we don't care about like
what they do.
You know, it's just like, if we think you're interesting, we'll bring you on. We had like a sex therapist on, a real therapist.
A sex therapist? Mm-hmm. Wait. Why would people go to a sex therapist?
You know,
to be like,
spice up their sex life. Oh. They're like, things.
What are they gonna say? Oh I'm bored.
Yeah.
With like my partner.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dump him. I don't know. No. I'm pro marriage.
You go to therapy. All right, are we
Really?
back? All right. I took my glasses off. A lot of people think I just wear glasses to be cool, but I got LASIK, and sometimes the lights bother me, so that's why I wear the glasses.
Oh, I just thought it was like a prop.
No, no, it's just the LASIK. I wish I didn't have to wear them, but sometimes the studio lighting bothers me.
Oh,
But yeah,
I guess Coco likes you.
yeah,
Oh,
we vibe.
yeah, I see. You can take him. I need a break. He gets crazy. He's just chill on the podcast. He falls asleep, and then he's just, I don't know, all over the place.
I like them.
Oh, how was your trip
To
to
DR,
DR?
it was good. I got to see family. I want to do stand up in Spanish. That's my goal. I want to do it like my next year.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Are you
I want to go to DR and film like a maybe 30-minute stand up special at a comedy club and put it on YouTube.
really?
Yeah.
That would be so interesting.
Yeah, I want to do that. That's a goal I've set.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how is it? Like you have to like prep for it, but you write your jokes and you have to like rehearse it, like and then see it on the mirror, like how it will look and everything like that.
No, not in the mirror. Like if I write a new joke, I'll just do it on stage like tonight. Like I'll just try it on stage.
You just try in front of people,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna be terrified that they're not gonna like it
No, because
because you have to act it out, no? So you don't have to.
sometimes they don't like it, but when you've been doing comedy long enough, you kind of learn that comedy is kind of like music where it's a rhythm. So it's like if you do the joke in the rhythm, you can get them to laugh even though the joke may not be that funny, and then you kind of just gauge it. You're like, all right, they're just laughing because of the rhythm. They don't think the joke is that funny. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like comedy is a rhythm. It's like a rhythm. Like when you're when you're cooking on stage, when it's working, it's
Right.
like you and the audience are dancing. Like you're saying it, like you're going in and saying the stuff, and then they're laughing, coming back at you. And you're going in and they're laughing, and it's a rhythm that you have. That's like when people talk at comedy shows. Like when people in the audience talk, or they'll like do something, it messes up the comedian because people don't know that, but like you're throwing off the rhythm. Like there's a rhythm in our heads that we're
Okay.
trying to keep. And when you start talking, you're stepping on us. It's like we're trying to dance and you're stepping on us. That's why comedians get so annoyed when people talk.
Has it happened to you that you have said a joke and nobody had laughed?
In my life?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
And what the hell do you do in that moment?
Nothing. I just
will
keep
run.
living.
You keep going? You're
Yeah.
like, okay, you don't like it? I don't care.
Well, mostly people don't know when they're supposed to laugh, right? Like they don't really
No, it's
know.
it's a reaction.
Right. So they don't know, like, if a joke didn't work, they don't know that the joke didn't work unless I tell them. They could just think I'm just talking.
Oh my God.
Like, they're like, well, that wasn't a joke, right? And I'm like, no. And then I'll just keep going to the next thing. But normally you try to package it. Like, if you're when you're killing, when you're doing very well, you put another joke, like you'll put a new joke in there, like in between. And the audience, like, even if they don't laugh, they'll be like, everything else was funny though, so we'll stay with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you do after the comedy, right? Like, what do you do in your free time? If you're not doing comedy, what is
I
it?
really don't do anything. Like if I'm not working doing comedy, I'm just hanging out with family. That's it.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't
that's
play
it.
video games? No hobbies?
Not really.
Nothing?
No, I don't really play video games. No, I don't. I don't really have a hobby. No, I mean my hobby. Like I get to do my hobby for a living, so that's really rewarding.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like what I enjoy is performing. That's why like a lot of times when people be like, "Yo, you don't go out or you don't do," I'm like, I'll go out sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but to me, like I'm having more fun me performing than I am going out. So it's like I don't feel like some people hate work and they think that that's how I feel when I work. It's like, no, that's not how I feel.
Right.
I feel great when I work. Like I love it. I enjoy it.
So there's no pressure, like even preparing to it.
Of course, there's pressure. There's pressure. I mean, there's different
You
levels
make
of
it
pressure.
seem so easy.
No, there's pressure. Of course, like you're gonna be on you're gonna do the Tonight Show. Yeah,
Right.
There's a lot of pressure. You want to be funny. You want to look good. You want Jimmy to like you. You want the producers to like you. You want NBC to like you. There's a lot of pressure. I've done it 4 times already though, so I've gotten a little bit more comfortable than the first time. The last time I did it, I was the most comfortable, and that's good. You want to keep growing and get more comfortable, but there's pressure. Yeah, there's pressure. I don't want to say I get nervous, but I get anxious for sure. Like I'm anxious. I'm like ready to go on, ready to perform. Cause that's the thing with comedy. Like a lot of the other things, when I did the HBO special, we shot it in Brooklyn, and I remember leading up to it, you got to do sound check. We designed everything. Like everything was like my design, and all that stuff. I felt so uncomfortable. Like I was so anxious doing all that stuff. But then when I showed up, and it was like when the producer in the back handed me the mic, and he was like, "Ian, are you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah." That's when I was like, "Okay, this is what I do." Like when you have an audience sitting in front of me who want to listen to comedy, that's my job.
Right.
That's
And then
where
all
I'm
the
comfortable.
anxiety goes away.
Everything else is like, this is what I do. This is what I do.
I assume that, like in my field, the young people, they think, oh, it must be so easy to do it. It must be so easy to become a makeup artist and then just make it and do celebrities and do all that. What do you think about the new
Yeah, well, you know, in
comedians?
comedy, everyone thinks they're funny. Like everyone just thinks that, like everyone literally thinks they're funny. Like everyone thinks they're the funniest. And a lot of people are funny. Like a lot of people are funny, like in their friend group or even in other arenas. But doing it on stage for people who paid money to be made laugh is that's a
But
different.
how does a new comedian makes it though? Because you said there's like thousands of podcasts of comedians, and then there's a
Now
lot of.
it's different.
So how it must be hard, no, to get into the field,
When
knowing
I
that there's so many people and knowing that there's people like up there that is like, oh my God, they set the tone.
Well,
you
now
know?
it's easier. When I started, it was not. I would say it's harder. It just took so much longer. Like when I started, the path was if you wanted to be a stand-up comedian, you would go to an open mic. You would do that for years. You would do comedy for almost 10 years before you like even thought about making a living on it. Like you could make a little bit of money, but not enough to make it your full-time job.
Okay.
It took 10 years, they used to say, for you to become a good, solid stand-up comedian. Now you don't need to do any of that. You do a character on Instagram, dress up like your aunt on Instagram, and start doing videos. You go viral. You'll sell out everywhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
So
like
so that's the way that it's easier.
it's easier in that way if you have that
Yeah.
skill. Like because honestly, those guys who are getting it off social media, they're skilled too. Like I'm not trying to take away from them. That is a skill. That is a
Right.
separate skill than what stand up is. But yeah, it's easier. Like back then. When I started, it was like Instagram had just came out. It was no Reels. It was no TikTok. It was none of that. Like you had no way of getting popular like that. Like now you can get popular off a podcast
Yeah.
and tour as if you're a stand-up comedian, even though you don't do stand-up. You're just
Right.
you do podcasting, and so in that way it's easier. Like you don't have to pay the dues that you used to have to pay.
So you had a full-time job before?
Yeah, I used to work for Delta
Really?
Airlines,
Get
baby.
the discounts?
Yeah, LaGuardia Airport. Those
And
are my people.
how long it took you to leave?
I worked there for 8 years.
Really?
8
And
years
then when
before.
did you decide, like, okay, I'm making enough money? Because it's not consistent, right? Like, it's being a freelancer is like up and down. How did you know
Well,
you were gonna leave?
now, I'm at a different place now. It's like a little more. It's like consistent now. Like
Okay.
I know more or less. Like I'm booked. I have like now I'm going back on tour. I'm going back on the road. I have a new special coming out. So now like I have a better plan. I have agents. I have a better plan of how I'm gonna make money in the upcoming year.
But I'm just saying, like, how did you make that decision? Because I'm asking because I know a lot of people, they're in that zone where they're like, oh my God, when do I know that it's time for me to like step out of my job and then just pursue my dream fully? You know?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a lot. It was easier for me. For one, I did the Tonight Show. Like after I did the Tonight Show, I was working at the airport. I did the Tonight Show, and then I remember being at the airport and like somebody recognizing me from the Tonight Show, but I was in like my Delta uniform,
Okay.
and that's when I was like, I was very scared, obviously, because I didn't know if I would be able to make a living. But I was like, I have to take this leap now. You have to take a leap at some point. You have to take a leap at some point.
Right.
It's up to you to decide when that point is. But at some point, if you want to fly, you have to jump off the roof. You're never going to find it as long as you're on the roof or on the ground. So at that point, I was like, I've done some things. I've built enough momentum. My name in the comedy world, at least, was building traction.
Right.
I had a couple things going that I was like, okay, I'm going to quit my job. And then the pandemic hit.
And then
And
you
I
were
couldn't
like,
work.
oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't
What am I
work.
gonna do?
Yeah.
Did you were you losing your mind, or you were just like, oh, I trust God. Let me just.
No, I was such a
Chill.
workaholic that when the pandemic hit at the beginning, I was kind of like, this is cool. Like, no one's working. Like, everyone's home. Nobody's getting, like, ahead of me. Like, this is kind of nice. But then quickly, like, I got tired of it. Like, I think after, like, 2 months, I was like, I got to figure something out. And we started doing online shows. Like, my agent started sending me shows. I was performing for colleges and corporations on Zoom.
Really?
And I kind of learned how to maneuver that. I started making money in that. And then things started opening up, started going on the road. And that's kind of how
Oh my God. So
Yeah.
it's been a journey.
it's been a journey, yeah, but it's great. I mean, everybody's a journey. Everybody's life is hard, and everything that everyone is doing is like hard. So it's like,
No, but I'm just so
It's my
happy that I
thing.
got to know this, know a little bit about you, about your career, about your childhood. I'm just happy to get to know you. You're a great guy.
I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. And if you haven't heard of my stuff, I encourage people to go on HBO, watch my special. It's called Romantic Comedy. It's on HBO. All of my Tonight Show sets, all 4 of them, are on YouTube. You can just search my name. They all come up. I have a Comedy Central half hour that's also on YouTube. You can watch that. And I have a new special that'll be coming out this fall.
That's what I was gonna ask you. When?
This fall. We don't have a set date yet. My goal is we really want to do it during the Hispanic Heritage Month, which starts, I believe, September 15th, I think, till October 15th. I could be wrong on those dates, but somewhere in that window. The food is ready.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
But yeah, so check it out. It'll be. I can't say where yet. We're down to like a few options, but hopefully, it'll be on a streamer somewhere, and I hope people enjoy it. If you go on HBO and watch romantic comedy, which is a culmination of like a bunch of crazy dating stories from my 20s, go watch the new one. I can't announce the name yet, but that'll be,
You tell me off mic.
Yeah, that'll be like, now I'm in my 30s and what that's like and talking about that stuff. So
I'm excited. I'm excited to see.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ian, so much. I really enjoyed this conversation. I really enjoyed listening to you, and I hope you come back.
I appreciate it. No, this was
I'm going to be
cool.
more seasoned,
I told you it would be cool. You were worried that it would be cool.
Yeah, I was so worried because you were like, I've been on hundreds of podcasts, and I'm like, this is my 4th. I don't know what I'm going to do in my life.
It's cool. Like, it's nice. It was fun.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
You enjoy the conversation?
Yes, I feel like I mentioned to you, I wanted to have a conversation that I think that people who watch your stuff and follow you would enjoy, whether they are fans of comedy or whether they're fans of whatever. And I think we
did that.
We dug into that, so that was good.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Let's go eat.
Yeah. I'm starving. I hope my food is warm, or I'm gonna kick your ass.
Why would it be warm?